Let's not forget to where we're from, for the show was the way to go.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, then it's WEFM 99.9. The time in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is now 13 minutes on to 8 o'clock. It's now time for Live Today with his commentary. Good morning to you, Live.
Morning, Maka, Roleza. Listen to WEFM. My internet not working properly this morning for some reason. Interesting, eh?
We're not going down that road.
Yeah, not working properly, so I don't know if I might get cut off hour. But so yeah, over the weekend, on Friday night, we saw our 16th homicide for 2026, and coincidentally, St. Lucia saw the 32nd homicide.
Wow.
Yeah, they wilding over there.
I wonder how much is Grenada?
I don't know. I didn't check Grenada, but
last report I get was 3.
3. Okay. St. Lucia is about between 184,000 to 200,000 people, almost double our population, almost. I don't even know what our population is, to be exact, because I'm hearing that our population is about 100,000 people these days.
Well,
it used to be like 150.
110. That's what we had. That's what we had claimed for a while. 100.
Yeah, I'm hearing in some circles it's down to like a little over 100,000. I don't know. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, we saw a 16th homicide. Keith James Chop. I know him as Chopper. He used to play for the national. He used to be a really good defender. Play for the national football team and Avenues United. A really good defender. He was shot 5 times on Friday. Second national football to be killed in that era, right? The first one was Talman, the goalkeeper guy. Yeah, he was shot in that same area and killed in that same area. Both of them were friends. From my knowledge of the ongoing violence, I think they are linked to one another, right? He was close friends with the Pars Avenue faction of the violence and things. So if I would be bold enough to say, I think that killing is linked to the ongoing violence, right? They said they went to his home and they found firearm, cocaine, bullets, extra magazine, foreign currency, cash, and all kind of thing, right? Yeah, I know him as that kind of person, you know. But it's very unfortunate that when these things happen, right, it just takes the murder toll higher in the country. As I predicted, it's like it's not. This thing is very hard for this to stop. It's very hard for this to stop. But so something we have to deal with ongoing.
We have a call on the line. Hello, morning.
Yes, honey bunch. Good morning.
Morning.
You know, we have a real problem in Millie here. All over in Millie here. Since morning you get up, you want to go to work, you can't get to bed. Since yesterday, 9 o'clock, the water gone. Not a drop of water. Children to go back to, we probably have to go. We have to go to work. They can't move out. I'm still on my bed right now. Because there's no water at all. We never see this in years in life.
Is it that you had water stored up and you've used all the water already?
I didn't have water stored.
You didn't have any?
No, it's the ongoing drought situation, the rationing situation.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking.
They could give us an hour and take it off. But they take it off since 10 o'clock yesterday morning.
Okay.
And they never put it back on.
Well, what I could suggest, because yes, there is a water rationing situation happening, but we've always been advised to have water stored at home. I thought it might have been a case where you had the water stored, you've used it up, and you were hoping for the water to come back to refill.
Yeah, we were thinking about storing up from this week.
Yeah, you have to be doing it.
Yes.
Right. And it doesn't even matter whether it's a drought situation, yes or no. Always have water stored, because you just never know what could happen. Right?
Speak it to me, yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so
but it's really hard. It's really hard.
Okay.
I ain't going into it.
So you're letting everybody know.
I can be.
All right. Okay.
God bless you. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it's always unfortunate when you have these situations, right? I met a woman a few weeks ago, right? And she told me that she always hear me talk about the killings, but I never mentioned her. I think she said her grandson or her son was shot, and up to now there isn't any real break in the case and thing. And she says she asked me to mention it now so that people won't forget. It was a young man, Shem. He was shot and killed broad daylight out above the airport side out there. I forget what the car. I don't know if you all remember that.
What year this happened?
Yeah, 2025. The 34th. No, he was the 34th homicide for 2025. It happened in okay, they call out the he was from Stubbs, but she said he was originally from Mesco. Shem Walker, Argyle Acres Bypass Road. He was shot and killed in Argyle Acres Bypass Road. He was in a Toyota Vitz, coincidentally with the number 666. PA666 was the number.
Oh, that's part I remember. All right. I don't remember his name, but I remember that part. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she asked me to mention that, so that she said she don't want people to forget. And he was also part of the Pars Avenue crew. He was actually when the day he died, he actually was in there and left with someone and went out there and was shot and killed out there. You know what I mean? So she asked me to mention that. I just say this ongoing feud is really serious, right? It's not gonna die down so easily, because they always have new characters, new people coming into it and things, right? The drought situation, it's serious, right? Because even over the weekend they take the water from different areas, and for a while they probably take it in the night. Some areas they take it in the night and bring it back all in the morning. Just a kind of way to preserve it. There's nothing we could really do, right? As really just say, the only thing we could do is like practice proper water conservation techniques, save water. I don't think people these days, back in the day, right? I used to always see my grandmother, she always have drums and barrels of water saver. You know what I mean? I don't think people don't do that these days. A lot of people have tanks, and they depend on the tanks, right? And the tanks work. But even the Grenadines, we seeing a big problem in Union Island. I saw Abdon White post about the serious situation down there in Union Island. And he said what is making it worse is that the roofs were blown off, and the roofs is the main the roofs on Union Island is the main implement that they use to channel the water into the tanks or whatever. And he said with the lack of roofs and things in Union Island is a really serious problem down there. I heard the government making plans to help out the situation. They said they're gonna take water down there. I didn't really listen to the full plans, but I know that how they're trying to deal with it or whatever. But I saw people
on the weekend. I think Saturday. Yeah, I think they've been doing it for a while though. But maybe they're stepping up efforts to do it more frequently.
I saw people trying to politicize it and thing. And as Abdon make a very enlightening post, sensible post. He was saying that everything is not politics. Don't try to bring politics into it. It's just a situation where people are. He said political affiliation doesn't have anything to do with the fact that people suffering. right? Now, because you support a particular party, you can't come out and say, yo, people suffering because of this water situation, you know what I mean? They make no sense. You say it's politics, it's just facts. You know what I mean? I don't think it's really anybody's fault, you know? It's just that there's always been a situation down there, but as a lot of people had their roofs on and thing, when the water come, they had proper storage facilities, and over the years, they learned to adapt and cope with the situation, but it's just a joke right now. And the issue exists, so it's just about fixing it. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
What a few years ago, it was when Barry struck, the government had received a lot of tanks, like hundreds and hundreds of tanks.
I think it's the eruption of La Soufrière.
It was La Soufrière, and for some reason they were lying around somewhere and was like in a tank graveyard, like. And it was really like
they said it was over Otley Hall.
Otley Hall, yeah.
Yeah, it was Otley Hall. They eventually distributed them because I don't see them. I don't think they're over there anymore. I don't know if they eventually distributed them, but they were lying around for a while.
I know that some at one point were distributed to farmers, I think, in Vermont, but I don't know. Well, I can't remember what the quantity was, and if that was a significant number that helped to decrease what was over there at Otley Hall. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird to see them over there. I don't know what was the hold up to distribute them, because I know these are things. If you know it's one thing people going to put use to as them, people going to put use to those tanks, right? People have use for those tanks, and they were sitting over there for a while. And it come back to all this story that trending this morning, where it was said that a lot of supplies that the former government received in 2022 for fishermen was stored and not given out. I don't like to address these things because, to me, like, I don't know what's the story behind that. You just hear one side that the stuff what they and they want not given out, right? I don't know what is the reason, so I don't really like to address those. But some of the things that I see for myself, I had problems with. Is like, for instance, when they build a hard coat, for instance. They build a hard coat and it never open it.
Yeah. All right, let's call it life and then we'll get back to that. Kojo, good morning.
Good morning. Roleza, I'm right. Those tanks at the hall were set aside for emergency reasons. That's why they weren't given out. Remember that?
So
set aside for you.
So when it's said that it's for emergency, as in when we have another natural disaster, we're currently in a drought situation. We're currently in a drought situation. If some persons wait, okay, well,
I'm not saying I'm saying what was said.
Right. So I'm hearing what you say, what was said, but in me trying to understand what you heard was said. Given that we're in a drought situation right now, wouldn't it have been best to distribute those ahead of time so that whoever right now might be in need of them could have put them to use already, in that they could have water stored?
Roleza, let me ask you something. Much time they probably have over there that they could get. You can't get the goal of some tank.
Well, we agree with that, but is it better for them to just have them there put down, not in use, or ahead of time as a preemptive measure, distribute them so who could possibly use them? You are see why siblings you give my neighbor a tank and I ain't on a tank. Is your neighbor more in need of the tank than I am?
How you know that?
Well, this is but you see, Kojo, I mean, it's one thing for you to say what was being said, but is what was being said even making sense?
We talk about human. We talk about humans.
If I have running water and Maka doesn't have running water, if Maka is more in need of the tank, then let Maka have the tank. By reason of understanding, I could understand why he has the tank. Is if I want to get vexed, I could stay vexed. But the point is, he is going to use the tank.
You talking like how we got people so reasonable and things like that. It can work like
yeah,
that.
but coach, in a case like this, where let's say the farmers are the ones who need it, they needed to get it ahead of time before we're experiencing this situation. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So put the things them to use.
Well, that's it. It's like you have you stuck there over there, so you got about 30 something tank, they say. How much person gets in your tank? You can't just start giving out tank like that. You have to.
I agree with that. You won't just give out willy-nilly like that. But I'm saying if it's persons who actually need and to put them to use, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Relisha, you will find yourself in more trouble.
I don't see it as finding yourself in trouble. People could cuss and complain for the 9 days and then they forget about that. It's tanks they're going to quarrel over.
Okay. If you say that, I am from the principle. You don't care what it is. You start sharing out anything and something.
So then to get around this issue is not to share with anything at all.
But if you only have 16 tons, 32 tons, how are you going to decide who you want to get? That's what I'm saying.
On a needs basis, there's always going to be a way to do something, to do these type of distributions, Kojo.
Relisha, if you have 16 tanks and you say you're going to share out the 16 tanks, you're going to have at least 1,000 person coming in for them tanks. How are you going to figure out who you should give it to?
So the solution to this is to not distribute them and just leave them there.
It's not the best way.
All right, Coach, I hear you.
Because if you get to 2 tanks or 3 tanks to anybody,
I hear you. I'm not in agreement with you, but I hear you. Okay?
but I don't have an agreement. We don't always have to agree sometime in our day. That's how it goes.
Yes. All right, no problem. All right, later, Kojo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much tanks are over there, but I know they were over there for a while before they were eventually but they're not over there anymore because I went over there the other day and I seen them, right? But a lot of people are talking about them being over there, right? But as I was saying, right, is that I would drive around the country a lot of the times. I don't see a lot of facilities locked up. And it was always like baffling to me. Why are these facilities locked up? Why people not being allowed to use them? You know what I mean? Like I select few. Then people say, oh, people going and they destroy them or whatever. I don't think that people destroying them should mean they should be locked up. I think that these facilities are caretakers. So if they know the high usage of these facilities is between 4 to 10 in the night or whatever, the caretaker could be there supervising the usage of the facility and not making them destroy, right? There was one in Lomans. I always used to watch it and say, this area is the Lomans area is an area where they have a lot of people who want to go and play small goal football and different kind of sports and things. Why that locked up? You know what I mean? And then I see like
the hard court.
Yeah, the hard court. Yeah. A lot of people would want to go there and use it, and things is only like be used by a select few people. There was never official opening ceremony. It was always locked up, and I always want to know why. Another place too. There was a playground in Green Hill, right? Full playground with swings and slides and whatever, and that was never open and just rotten right down. I wonder if that was that private? Was that privately owned or whatever?
No, I think one time that was for the Green Hill community.
Yeah, but it was never open. It was rotten down. I think at one point they had said something. I think they had said Skinny had fixed it up at one point, and I have never went to Green Hill and saw that open. Ever. That was just left there. That was really strange. You know what I mean? A lot of these facilities just get left like that. And I know hard courts are used in communities. There was one over Edinburgh at the top of the hill. That used to be filled with people. That used to be like people used to fight to use that on an evening. There used to be contention between the footballers and the netballers on that court on the evening, where if the netballers reach first, they go get it, and then the footballers might come and it used to be so needed in the communities, and then that just run down. That just was left to run down, and then Hurricane Beryl come and blow down some of the fence and thing, and then it wasn't usable. During the election, they fix it up. They try to fix it up. It reached a sort of way now after it just there now. Almost finished but unfinished, so still can't be used. I think they probably need to go and get that done so the people can start back to use it. You know what I mean? A lot of these facilities.
Let's take a pin there, live, and then we could get back to that. All right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we are going to bring this first part to a close, and we'll be back in about maybe like 5 or so minutes with part 2 of Life's commentary for today. Time here in SVG, it is 8:06, quickly approaching 8:07. And our time check came to us with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,